and I'm with Turf and Boards and MASL Off the Wall. I'm here with soccer's midfielder Brian Farber in this edition of Kano Off the Wall. Hi, Brian. You are an Idaho native.
I am.
You had some pretty early success as a youth playing soccer. First, what made you choose soccer as a sport to go to?
I played everything. When I was younger, I played baseball to the Babe Ruth level. I quit baseball. It was too slow. I think most soccer players will tell you that it's boring, it's slow, it's just not our style.
Right.
I played AAU basketball. I raced motocross. I quit almost those at the exact same time, 8th grade. Before I went into high school, I just focused on soccer. So,
right. Wow.
Everything kind of just dwindled down to what was my favorite thing to do.
Okay. At college, you seem to have hit the ground running. I mean, you still had a career. I mean, do you still hold the career record at North Idaho College?
I believe I do. I haven't checked up on it, but I haven't really heard that it's been broken.
And then you transferred to Oregon State University.
Yep.
There you were named All Pac-10 second team and Pac-10 All Academic Team your senior year.
Yes.
That's like the books and field.
Yeah, I mean, grades are always important.
Right.
I try to reiterate that with the kids that I train, that you got to stay in school and focus on your grades. But it's just I don't like to fail at anything, so
right.
I'm never gonna let something slip away and take a bad grade. I really had a hard time in like the really high levels of statistics, because those are just crazy. But I enjoy math and science and history, and school is fun for me. But fun in a way of like I like to learn, not fun in a way that I enjoy school. I think there's a difference there. I just like to learn.
Right. So talk about playing in the Pac-10.
Yeah, Pac-10 now Pac-12.
Right.
Back then we had, I think the year we went to the NCAA tournament every year I was there, but we ended up losing in the first round both times to University of Portland.
Okay.
Pretty lucky for them in terms of one of the games. The other game was a toss-up. But we really blew it. We were 4th in the country at the time, and we just didn't put it together on the field. And then that year in the national championship was Stanford versus UCLA. So it was two of our guys that we had beat earlier in the year.
Wow.
And they're in the national championship.
Wow. So when you started playing professionally, you began playing the indoor game initially?
I did. I walked on to the California Cougars.
And that was with the California Cougars in 2005?
That's correct.
And that was in the MISL 2. That was in the second incarnation of the MISL?
It was the MISL, yeah. Well, yeah, it was the MISL. There was expansion going on at the time. I didn't know a lot about the history at the time.
Right.
All I knew is there was a team on the West Coast, and they were having a tryout, and my friend had made it to the final day, and he invited me down, and I called the coach, and the coach said, got the wrong information. I drove down anyway because I knew there was a tryout, and then I ended up making the team.
So you've always been an impact player, and that was no different at Stockton. Can you touch on the years with Cougars?
Yeah, I learned a lot. I was the only rookie on the team, so I had guys like Aaron Susi and Antonio Sutton and Bernie Lillebois. These guys were all my coaches and my teammates, actually. My teammates and Bernie became my coach.
Right.
So I had a lot of guys that were veterans. Every one of the guys was a veteran. Craig Shear, Matt Caution, Neil Gilbert, like John Ball, you name the list goes on. And those guys really kind of gave me a hard time. I carried every bag. I really learned like a true rookie status. And I kind of just...
I think that's a rookie everywhere.
No, there's definitely not. We've had teams where that is not the case.
Really?
I was the only rookie on this team, and I was basically the young buck on the team for like.
But I mean, in the sense of rookies carrying the bags.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to try to put it on somebody, but at that level, if I didn't make the team, those guys would have had nobody to put all it on to. So it ended up falling back on me a lot. But I had a lot of good veterans on the team that would, help me out and carry some weight. But at the same time, it was a learning experience. That's for sure. Learning the indoor game is always a transition for everybody.
Right.
But indoor for me was kind of natural, and it was just I did well my first year, and I never really looked back.
After the MISL 2 folded, the Cougars went into the PASL. That was the 2008-2009 season and won the inaugural championship. Was that also the year that you earned the MVP?
Yeah, I believe it was. I think it was.
How did things change? How did things change as far as the competition, level of competition, that kind of thing with the new league?
Yeah, some new teams got to jump into the pro level status. Some of them probably didn't belong, and that was good for us, I guess, to get some wins. But
Right.
competition wasn't that bad. It just wasn't as concentrated as it was before. There was players jumping around.
Right.
I signed the first ever contract, I guess, in the PASL because I made my decision to stick to California. At that time, my priority was outdoor and playing with Portland, and so indoor was my off season, and so it was easier for me, and it was a comfort level. So I just signed that agreement, and little did I know it was going to be kind of a thing in the history books. But
yeah, right on. Yeah, and it was. It's something that is thrown out there. You know, that Brian Farber signed the first PASL contract.
Well, I was getting offers from all the other teams, and I was really leaning towards playing for Keith in Milwaukee. And,
right.
Keith and I kind of negotiated a contract a couple of times in preseason because I really did want to go. I really wanted to play for him.
Right.
I wanted to play with some of those guys on that team, but I just ultimately at the end of the day, it was a lifestyle thing. I wanted to stay in California. I had good coaching situation set up, and my wife was then my fiance at the time. She was in Portland or in San Diego. She was moving down, and I wanted to stay close to her.
So you played 4 years or 5 years outdoors. That was mentioned that was your priority at the time.
Yeah. So I was in Minnesota for my rookie year, and then I was with Dynamo the next year, and then I was with the Dynamo again, but I got hurt. I came back from my injury. At the same time I came back from my injury, I'd signed with Portland, but right before I signed with Portland, I was in a car accident. So I was in Portland for 3 years. Then I went to the Railhawks in Carolina, and I finished my outdoor career. After I moved to San Diego, I was basically done with outdoor. My agent called me and said there was a team in LA that would be interested, and so it was let's do it. So I played with LA Blues.
Right. Now that was going around from different leagues too,
NASL,
wasn't it?
NASL and the USL. Yeah.
Talk about the difference between those leagues.
I mean, they're different statuses in terms of outdoor, but they're very similar in terms of competition. It's just the ownership groups are trying to create different leagues.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't say there's a big difference between the two. Right now, there's some stuff going on with the NASL, but I don't really know the final details.
So now you came to the San Diego Sockers.
Yeah, so I came to California. I wanted to be in San Diego. It was either here or Milwaukee again.
Right.
And it was so close to signing to Milwaukee that I actually traded in my car. I bought an SUV. My wife and I were pregnant. Like, we were moving to Milwaukee. We were going to set roots. And then I told Susie that. And Susie was like, "What? No, you're a soccer." And so he talked to Phil. And next week we moved to San Diego.
And again, a major impact player. Named, all PASL first team and in your first 2 seasons in San Diego. Talk about the championship seasons with the Sockers.
Yeah, I mean, I will say when you come to San Diego, it's not easy to just jump onto this team and to fit in right away. When I got there the very first day, which was actually previous season, I played a couple of games, I think 5 games with the Sockers on our way to the championship, is they brought me in due to some injuries. And when I joined, I remember warming up on the field while the guys were all stretching. I kind of got there late and just came in from the airport. And I remember they were like, "What is he doing here? What's Farber doing here?" And the group took me in really quickly.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, Susie was the leader of the team, and he basically said, "Yo, we need this guy, and he's here." And he made the transition very easy for me, but I don't think that would have happened for everybody. I think it would have been a tougher thing for somebody else to come in from an outsider and fit in with the group of guys that we had here at the moment. That team was solid, and they just added me to it. It was very fun.
So name some of the players that are still with the team that were there that day.
I mean, you're talking about Chris and Craig. Medina. Those are really it. Cheeky just retired.
Right, Cheeky just retired. Was Reza there at the time?
No, not in the very beginning.
Not yet?
No.
Competition began to pick up in the final season of the PASL, and San Diego's 4-year run came to an end in Las Vegas. But before we go there, I want to talk a little bit about the 48-game winning streak.
Okay.
So what do you got with that? Talk about that experience.
I mean, it was unlike anything I'd been a part of. Every game kind of kept going. We put pressure on ourselves. Earlier in the year, we were in Arizona, and I don't know if you know this story. You probably had heard it. We were in Arizona, and we had just come off of a big win, and we were throwing out bets at dinner and kind of having fun, challenging.
I do remember hearing something about this.
And so I said, I got a bet for you, Phil. You ready for this? And he said, "Yeah, I'm ready for this." And I said, if we win the championship, we win the Open Cup, and then we go to Mexico and we win the International Championship,
Right.
which was going to be really tough.
Right.
And we go undefeated. You get us all iPads.
Okay.
And he sat there for a second, and he waited for a moment, and then he agreed to the terms. And so everyone was like high-fiving, like, we're going to try to win these iPads.
Nice.
That was extra incentive.
Of course.
It just played into it. But
That's
it
fun.
wasn't the driving factor.
Of course not.
We never wanted to lose, and we had a really, really good team. And I look back at the team from Wanderley and Diego and guys P3 when he came back. Like everybody that helped that streak of 48 games.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Every game.
It was fun as a fan, too.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we knew we were going to win if we brought it.
Right.
I mean, even the game we lost, we were totally cheated out of. So I can still say that to this day. But it is what it is. We lost. We should have never let it be that close. But in sports, that's why you play games. So it was very fun to be a part of. I think it will be a streak that will be left up there for a long, long time.
You mentioned the international tournament. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think we had...
Identify what that was first, where that was and what that was, the teams that were involved, that kind of thing.
So it was in Monterey. Monterey was the big favorite hosting it, and it was us and them and two other teams. I can't recall who they were.
I think one was from Ecuador and the other one was from Canada.
Maybe so, yeah.
I think.
There was one team that was outmatched. I think that makes sense. The Canada team got beat every game.
Right.
And so we ended up playing Monterey, and then we had to play them again in the final. So we played 4 games in like 5 days or 4 days.
Wow.
And so we ended up playing them again in the final, and we ended up pulling it off in 6 attacker at the end. They were trying to pull that, and we stretched the lead, I think, by maybe 2 goals with 30 seconds left. And it was over. And I remember being on the field for that moment thinking, this is the final thing that we really thought we had to overcome. We still had the finals the next 2 weeks, but getting through that was like more gruesome than getting through the final, I think, at the end of the season. We knew if we could get through that as a team, we were going to be pretty confident going into the finals back home.
There's a very iconic photograph of you with that trophy.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. Kissing the trophy on the field.
Yes, you were. So after the Chicago Mustangs won the final PASL title, we saw the PASL take on a new face. The MASL began by including the MISL 3 teams. Talk a little bit about what the face of the game looked like after that first MASL season.
Yeah. I mean, it made sense to have everybody in one league to promote one sport. It was really dumb to have 2 different leagues.
And that's been kind of historical. I mean, that's with this game.
Ownership groups have different thoughts and feelings, and it makes sense, but it also makes sense that those guys should support each other and get in one room and have one agreement. And
absolutely,
what is going on right now is the best that it's been in a long time. And everybody knows it. And, and we need to promote this one sport together. We got futsal coming into the league, or coming into the States, and still doing its thing and getting going. But I mean, we have to support each other. There's no way to have a divide between what we're ultimately trying to do.
Well, you come to that cliche, united we stand, divided we fall. I mean, and it's pretty brainless on the face of it. I mean, I get that there's a lot of differences as far as the ownership group's concerned as to how they want to play the game, where they want to play the game, what kind of a venue is acceptable, what kind of a scoring system is acceptable, all that kind of thing. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we have essentially the same game being played, and to have it split up regionally is kind of silly.
Yeah, it was definitely not helping benefit the sport. So now everybody's on the same page. The front office of the league is making the right decisions. I think in general everybody's on the same page. I think so too. It's been good to have that. I think so too. The Sockers have remained on the top of the game, but have come up short the last few years. This season, San Diego opened up with 10 straight wins. Yeah. And they're back on the winning track as of today, but there were those 2 losses last week. Yeah. And how do you see the Sockers this year in terms of bringing home the Runderman Cup? Well, the goal every year is to win a championship when you're here in San Diego. The expectation is that we have a real shot at it. Right. We would never field a team or even be in operation if we didn't. And so I would say that the team that we have this year is the strongest we've had in a while. I think so too. And it's not necessarily just the depth, but it's like the love for each other. We actually have a group of guys that genuinely care about each other. We laugh more on the road. That's very cool. And that's part of it. And I mean, when I look back at the 48-game winning streak, that was a group of guys from everybody, top to bottom. We all cared about each other. We all had a good time. Right. It was fun to travel together and go handle business and support each other on the field, on and off. There was never finger pointing, and we've had that in the last couple of years. And so now I'd say that's gone away, and there's more support for each other. You'll see a lot more tackling and like supporting each other. Come and help come and help support by defending your guy, helping you not let him get through, and tackle him hard, and like look at each other and like there's that love for each other right now.
Right.
That is going to help us make a run for the championship. I would say that it wasn't necessarily missing, but it wasn't as prevalent before in the last couple of years. So winning the championship this year is a real chance. If we stay healthy, we have some injuries. We need to get through the injuries, and you win a championship. There's a lot of skill involved, but there's also a lot of luck involved. There's good timing. You peak at the right time, and the matchups. There's everything. I mean, you look at people out there trying to do the same thing we're doing in their sports. It's hard to win. Absolutely. I mean, the Patriots are the true champs, right? They seem to have it. It's amazing what they're doing. Yeah. So hopefully we can try to get back into the finals and try to get another banner.
You are sort of tagged for your speed on the field. There's been a few new players brought in to make the team a faster team.
Yeah, we needed it.
Yeah, I believe we did too. How do you feel about the team chemistry with the new blood on the field?
Oh, it's great. I mean, you got guys, everybody. I mean, I just think about the smiles at practice, and practice is fun again. Practice wasn't fun for a couple of seasons.
Okay, now I got to interrupt you here. I've had the pleasure of coming to a couple of your practices, and no kidding. I mean, I got to tell you, it looks like a bunch of kids out there just having a blast. It is really cool.
Yeah, and that's what it should be. I mean, obviously we work hard, but
yeah, absolutely.
Even in the hardest exercises, and even when we're just doing boards, like we're enjoying the time practicing.
It's obvious. Better. Yeah, it is obvious. We talked earlier a couple of days ago, and I was compelled after that conversation to attempt to look up what your personal win-loss record is on the field with the San Diego Sockers. And I was unable to get any real numbers.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me that when you're on the roster and on the field, the team has a tendency to get a W. Do you want to say anything about that?
I mean, it's a nice to have. Definitely not a stat that I've looked up. Like I said, I don't know the numbers.
Sure.
When I got hurt, I mean, I've been injured for 3 seasons with this knee.
Right.
When I got hurt, and ultimately I got hurt in the Vegas game where we were eliminated. But not being out on the field and not being able to carry my weight, it was hard to watch. And then really, I guess we had a lot more losses in that time period. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily like just me being out of the lineup.
Of course. I get the same feeling from Anthony Medina, to be honest, and I don't know if there's any legitimacy behind that. But I get the feeling, too, that he has this sort of, in his case, kind of an unsung hero role where he's out there and the team seems to gel better. When
there's a comfort. There's just knowing, who's on the field and the history that, certain guys have with each other, being here for a while. And Medina's been here for a long time and been a part of this program. And he's definitely been part of all the wins. I think he was a part of all 48 wins.
He was there, he got the nickname Iron Man because he was the only one that was in all 48 games.
We would kind of make fun of him sometimes. He doesn't tackle hard enough to ever get hurt.
Oh, okay. He's probably going to see this.
That's okay. No, he doesn't watch social media. But the team in general, when we're all healthy and together and we understand each other, there's this ability to put it together and to get wins. And when I was hurt for those couple years, it was really depressing. Actually.
Well, I mean, I don't want to focus on that, but if you could touch on that a little bit about the injury.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
I had a bit of a dirty tackle in Las Vegas. My knee popped. I can remember the play specifically. I thought I tore my ACL or something. It was loud and painful, and it ended up standing up after a few minutes, and it wasn't that bad apparently. And so I walked on it, I jogged on it, I moved my knee. I didn't feel anything weird. Savage checked me out, and I finished the game on it. Actually, I think I got another goal or two at the end, but we couldn't pull it off.
Right.
That arena was tough. And
it was crazy.
In the off season,
wrong in a lot of ways,
for sure. But in the off season, I wasn't really pushing myself really hard. It was a new off season for me. I was no longer playing outdoor. I was actually taking a corporate position at Puma at the time.
Right.
And so I wasn't out running and training like I would. And so when preseason came around, I was starting to get fit. That's when we really realized something was wrong. And it was that knee, and it was that tackle, and it was bearable, but it wasn't. I couldn't perform on it. So we tried everything: stem cell shots, PRP shots. We tried kind of everything, and then I did a real stem cell shot, kind of an experiment, as they would say.
So you were talking about this the other day. This is where they actually took the stem cells from you,
yeah,
and reapplied them into the injury area.
His name's Dr. Chris Rogers.
There you go. There's the plug.
Yeah, he's the man. He changed my life. No
Wow.
kidding. I met an advocate of his on the golf course. One day I was limping around the golf course with McNeely, and he was making fun of me for limping around. I didn't realize that I had modified my walk just to like get through the day.
Wow.
I couldn't jog with my wife. I couldn't work out in the gym. I couldn't jog on a treadmill. I couldn't do anything.
Wow.
And so, that's not me. And
Right.
so it was pretty depressing. I try not to let too many people know how bad it affected me, but got to the point where I'm going to watch games and I'm just like putting on a smile, but frustrated inside.
Right.
And I played in games, but I didn't practice, and for a while. But you're missing something. You can't.
So
touch
that
a
wasn't
ball.
just because you were the superstar and didn't need practice, huh?
No, that was the last thing. I like to practice. I like to practice. I like to play. So no, it was not me being a prima donna. But when I got that stem cell shot, I could tell things were healed. And I came back midway through like last season. I guess I missed preseason. I missed a couple games last season due to the shot and the healing. And it's taken full effect now, and it really kind of hit its healing point midway through this off season. So this is my first healthy season with the knee, where I can actually jump off of it and cut and stop and run and do all the things that I want to do. But I didn't touch a ball the way I wanted to, or stop and cut and run for 3 years.
Wow.
I was basically hurt for 3 years. I
Wow.
took 6 months off. I took 3 months off. I took 3 months off. I took 6 months off.
Wow.
And it was like, you can't play like that. So
Right.
I look at Tiger Woods right now. He's the greatest in the game.
Right.
The greatest in the game. And people are wondering, like, can he come back from this injury? And he's older now. And it's like, God, I look at that. And I'm like, if Tiger Woods can't do it, how am I supposed to do it? So I'm totally fine coming back and just playing and not necessarily getting back to the role that I had before on the team. I'm happy to be a supporting role, so to speak, in this.
Well,
system.
your acrobatic goals haven't slacked a little at all. I mean, you're still throwing out some crazy goals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep working hard to get back to like a full 100% me, but I mean, I'm 35 now.
Right.
And we have guys that have come in to take on some of that void that I left when I was injured. I mean, we got guys like Matt Clare. They need to score 20 goals this season. Max, like, we need him. Juan, we need him to do his thing.
Exactly.
And we have a team, and I think that just now, I think those guys are realizing like what I can actually bring to the table, because I was hurt.
Yeah.
Basically until a couple months ago.
Okay, so right now, there are five of the next 6 games are on the road for San Diego.
Right.
That includes the currently unbeaten Flash in a couple of days. Back-to-back games in Florida, along with the visiting the surging star team. And they're doing well. They've put in some new players.
Team forwards. Yeah.
And then Solis is coming to San Diego for the only home game.
Right.
In that mix.
Right.
Are we going to see you as part of that roster throughout this next 6 games?
Yeah, of course. The only reason that I miss a game is, let's say I get hurt again, right? That's why I missed a game a couple weeks ago. I had a hamstring issue. But I'm not going to miss a game if it's a big game. So, like, I'm not playing in Turlock's match tonight. I'm not traveling with the team, but that's because we have a deep enough team to go up there, and to hopefully we should be able to handle them even on the road. And then I'll be meeting the team in Mexico.
Of course, I was going to ask you that you were so gracious to let us meet today here, and the question came up when we made this arrangement for this time that I didn't see how it was going to work, because the team's on the bus right now going up to Turlock. Right.
Yeah. Different situation for me in my career. I have other responsibilities, not other priorities. Right. But the job here at Skills has been.
And we'll touch on that here in a minute.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Give you a shot to talk about what you're doing here at Skills.
Sure.
So let's talk about fatherhood. You've got a new baby.
I do.
And you got, what, a 5-year-old daughter?
5-year-old daughter.
And fatherhood for me has been the joy of life.
Sure.
And my kid's 21 years old now, and I still love hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Oh, God. My daughter, all right, we'll go there first. She just started playing soccer.
Oh, cool.
She's a handful. She's too smart for her age, where she just challenges everything I say, and she'll flip it back on me. I've been teaching her to self-defend. She got a pretty wicked punch and kick and leg sweep.
Nice. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Well, basically, I'm the kind of dad that if somebody says, if she comes home and says, there's a boy pushing me in school, I'm going to say, push him back.
That's right. So, well done.
She's in kindergarten. What's she going to get suspended? So I want her to learn to defend herself.
That's right.
So maybe it's not the best parenting tactic, but that's how I'm going to do it, and no one can tell me different. So she shouldn't be afraid of those situations. And she's very friendly, so I try to teach her to be friends with everybody, and I know she is. But at the same time, if there's a bully picking on one of her friends, I tell her to stand up for them too. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that.
But now your new baby's your first son.
Yeah.
Okay,
he's,
so now
he's 3 months old now today.
Wow, that's pretty new.
Yeah, so he's going through a growth spurt, and he's eating a lot, and he's crying a lot, and he's fussy a lot.
Right.
He's still cute, but he's just like it's hard, He's 3 months old. Anybody who has a kid knows you get through 3 months, and you're kind of like, you can finally take a deep breath. So hopefully he'll start to.
I didn't have a full night's sleep for the first 3 months.
Oh, no.
Not one.
My wife hasn't either.
We've come here to Skills in Carlsbad to meet and have this conversation, and this is you were showing me around a little bit the other day. It's a fabulous facility, and it's huge. I mean, it's a massive facility.
Yeah.
And this is something you've been doing for a number of years. Talk a little bit about what goes on here at Skills in Carlsbad.
Yeah. Well, first off, Skills is a sports training brand. So we started in 2002 as a baseball company.
Okay.
Technically a baseball product. And throughout the years, kind of evolved into a sports training brand for baseball, basketball, football, soccer, golf.
Across it. Oh, wow.
And we do performance training, which kind of underlies everything. And so we can kind of venture into, say, rugby and hockey and
that's cool.
Other sports with the performance side. We're worldwide. And in 2014, during my injury, they were looking to start soccer. And so they had a job opening for the position. And it was the time where I was at Puma. Okay. And my former boss at Puma had found it and basically recommended me for it.
Okay.
She said, it's perfect for you. You should do it. So I put my name in the hat. My wife was at a wedding at the time, with her best friend's wedding. And so I was like texting her, calling her, letting her know I'm going to have an interview. She didn't really have a lot of time for me. So and there's like 3 days period. And so I had like 2 interviews, and then I met with the CEO, and I took the job, and I signed all the paperwork, and then I had to figure out what to do at Puma. So I actually gave Jeff Hughes the job at Puma. So I trained him on his job that he currently has, and I told his bosses now that I got to go. I'm going to take this opportunity, but I have somebody for you if you'll let him. And they basically said, well, we don't know who that is at this moment, but if you say he's the right guy, he's got the job. So I got Jeff started in the corporate world too.
That's huge.
But here at Skills, we basically, in the soccer line, we create products to help players improve their ability, whether it's the ability on the ball, whether it's the ability to pass, shoot, finish. Both of these products right back here have been seen a billion times on social media in the last 12 months. And when I say a billion times, it's actually like numbers added up with Instagram. And
you're not just throwing a number out there.
It's not fake. It's not a Farberized fake number, exaggeration, as my wife would say.
Yeah, okay.
This is true numbers. So,
gotcha.
So yeah, we have all the data on it, and we've really been blowing up, like as you said, worldwide. It's the biggest opportunity within the sport category is to have a good football or soccer category. And
no kidding. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
Without that, you can't call yourself worldwide.
No, well,
I mean, not really.
Basketball is a pretty worldwide sport too, and we have pretty good distribution in that space.
But the number of people, the number of people playing the game, the level of the sport at the top of its game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And so creating the right products and having the right line, and that's what my job is. I literally create the products, I write the instructions, I write the content, I work with the engineering team, I work with designers, I work with sales, I work with marketing, and I kind of in like this hub, and not like a master of all, but I know a little bit about each, and I work with each group to make sure that we're launching the right products at the right price points to be successful in the soccer world, and we've been doing a pretty good job.
Well, Brian, it's been great to talk with you. my son's going to enjoy this video. You've been his favorite player since he took the field for the Sockers.
Nice.
And probably the biggest. I mean, he's not a real emotional guy, but when they do the roster, when they do the introductions on the field, and you come out, I can catch a smile off this kid. I mean, he's really stoked when you play. As am I. It's been a great opportunity to watch your career since you came with the Sockers. Just to close out, this has been Ponto Off the Wall with San Diego Sockers midfielder Brian Farber. My name is Greg Suddy, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, Greg.
You're right, keep it there, keep more. Holy crap. Zeus! Sorry. New shoes! New shoes!
Dope.
I'm gonna score with a man down. Joey! Oh no, baby, good save. Go at him! Yeah! Yeah! Yeah, baby! Hey, you can't score! You can't score! Hit it! Finish! Yeah, yeah! Yeah, baby. Oh. Yeah! Ah, baby.
Stumbling a moment there, Chase Hansen. And Farber says, now I'll push. Side tackle the ball in! Brian Farber! The pressure pays off!
It's 42.
And indeed, good eyes there, partner. Carmona. Here come the Sockers. It's Farber! Brian Farber off the perfect hair. He's going to come in on right wing, and Farber says, I'm ahead. Farber, what a goal!
Field and then get it over to Lund. Now the leave off and the shot and the score. Craig Childs with the assist.
Could get on the end of it.
Well defended.
Tovar, beautiful ball across, and Farber nudges it home. And here's Farber coming in one-on-one. Farber deserves his goal, and he gets it. 1:41 remaining. The Sockers hit 10. And Waltman almost gave it away again. In fact, he has. Farber slips it through Waltman's leg, and in a blink of the eye, from 1-0 down to 2-1 up, San Diego have the lead. So that's a great outlet from Toth.
Oh.
Off the boards from Childs. Farber unable to finish it off. Rolls off of him. Pinball stuff. Farber won't mind. The Sockers take a 2-0 lead.
At the first half line change there. Real patient build up.
Beautiful flick and a tremendous finish.
That is magnificent all around. Patient build up. Beautiful stuff.
With his feet. Play it right up the middle of the park. Reza touches it to Childs. Childs to the yellow line. Give and go back to Reza. He shoots off the post left. A great give and go. Now a loose ball to the middle of the park. And Farber, he scores! Bicycle kick Farber! Oh my goodness! Brian Farber just bicycle kicked it from the top of the crease. Golazo for Farber. It's 4-1.
Here comes the free kick. It's Rivera just putting it to the edge of the crease. Back heel chest. And Farber, he scores! He scores! He scores! Golazo! Brian Farber! 2.2 seconds remaining. The Sockers are going to do it. They pull it out of the fire in Sin City as Brian Farber heads one with under 3 seconds to play. Unbelievable! Farbs, you're the man. A sixth attacker goal with 2 seconds left. The fans are stunned. The Sockers will win this game. It was Childs, a back heel off the goal glass, and Farber headed it home. Just like he did to beat Anaheim in the Sockers' last 1-goal win. Brian Farber from Childs. .2. Are you kidding me? A beleaguered fan base is filing out of the Orleans Arena. They hope to find better luck on the craps table tonight because the Sockers have crapped out the legends. 6-5.